Hey, what's up and how's it going? My name is Toby and this is the first tutorial of the series where I'm going to show you step by step how you can create your own augmented reality application using Unity and the Lightship ARDK 3. What you are seeing here right now is the AR game I'm currently working on, using some advanced features such as live meshing. But in today's video, I want to just give an introduction into creating augmented reality applications within Unity. And what we are going to build is something that's maybe less complicated, but not less exciting. We are going to do some plane detection and placing some astronauts into the real world, just like here. Okay, so to get started, as I already said, we are going to use the Unity engine, and I would highly recommend you to have some basic knowledge about this engine, since this tutorial will go into AR development, but it won't be a Unity basics tutorial. So first of all, we are going to need the Unity engine version 2022.3.29 F1, as this is the latest LTS version of Unity that is being supported by the Lightship ARDK. Next up, you would go to lightship.dev, sign in and create an account. It's all free. And then once you are on the dashboard, create a new project, call it as you want, and then copy or save the API key. Maybe just keep the website open until we created the Unity project. So the Lightship ARDK, as it's already shown here, is basically a addition to the standard AR kits, the AR add-ons that we use, which are AR Kit and AR Core, and combined an AR Foundation in the Unity engine. So we have some basic features here and some more advanced features than in the ARDK 3, which seamlessly integrate with each other, and it's also the same on Android or iOS, which makes it quite easy to develop cross-platform AR applications. So then we need to go into a Unity hub and just create a new project. Gonna choose the right editor version, select the 3D core and call it my first ARDK 3 app, choose a folder, and then create the project. So while it's loading, we can already go to the Lightship dev site. Where is it? Here. And copy the GitHub link. So we are going to need this link here. By the way, links are in the video description, of course. And once our Unity project has finished loading, we can go to Windows, Package Manager, and then we can add package from git URL and enter our URL. And this will not only install the ARDK, but also the AR Foundation and all the other tools we are going to need to start creating. As I already said, in this tutorial, we're going to do the basics, and we're not going to deep in the more advanced features such as live meshing, but we are going to mostly use features that are already inside of the AR Foundation package. So we're going to definitely get into the more advanced and more difficult features later on. But first of all, we'll need to learn the basics. So yeah, click yes, and the engine will restart as well. So while the engine is restarting, we can use our time and already copy our API key that we are going to need just in a second. So then, to make sure everything worked, we can go up here, and if there's Lightship, then this means that our installation was successful. We can go to Project Validation, and we should always keep an eye on this Project Validation window here, as it gives us hints on things that we need to still fix until we can fully use the Lightship ARDK. Of course, if you want to build to Android or iOS, make sure that you have your Android and iOS package installed with your Unity 2021 version. You can of course later on also add that in the Unity hub by adding packages. So one thing we need to do is we need to go to the Lightship SDK and paste in our API key here. Then we need to go to the project validation again. Let's keep an eye on iOS and Android. So most things here are basically settings that need to be tweaked. So for example, we need a minimum version of 13 or 14 or higher. And we need to enable some stuff within the plugin management. So let's go up to the XR plugin management. For our PC, we are currently taking the XR simulation, and I'm going to show you later on why. On Android and iOS, we take the Lightship SDK. So next up, we need to go to our build settings and then player settings and scroll down a bit. So for iOS, we need to make sure that we have the right settings here, which is basically the Mac configuration, and then have some kind of text prompt here. So when you open the app on the phone, there will be asking for using the camera and the microphone, and then you will need to have something here. But that's it for iOS. For Android, if we want to build to Android later on, we need to have some different settings. So we need to disable the auto graphics API. We're not gonna remove Vulkan. So we have OpenGLES 3. And also we wanna not have scripting backend mono, but ILCPP. And then we wanna choose the ARM64 platform. All right, so I think that's it. So now we would be actually ready to build to Android as well. If I'll find something that I missed here, I'll put it in the video description. But these are some basic settings, so we could now switch to any platform that we want. We're gonna begin by switching to iOS though, because for the PC it doesn't matter. We just need to switch to some kind of platform in order to start running and testing our AR application. By the way, if you have a build error later on with Android that is Gradle related, this might be because Unity 2021 and the ARDK 3 might use different Gradle versions, and I put a fix to that in the video description. But basically you just need to download the Gradle version 6.7.1, I think, and then just in the Unity preferences, then just link to that one. All right, so since it's finished loading, we can start building our AR app. So we're gonna start by deleting the main camera, and we're gonna click on right-click XR, and then create an XR origin, which is pretty much our new camera, and then also create an AR session. And since we have those two, we can start creating. And in order to test in editor, so we of course have to enable in the project validation and then XR plugin management, enable the XR simulation over here. So we can't do that with the Lightship SDK yet. Probably will be possible in the future. Right now we need the XR simulation. And then we are going to go to Window, XR, AR Foundation, XR Environment. So these are some mock environments that will let us test augmented reality inside of the Unity editor, and we can install the sample environments, which is just a big bundle of different environments like kitchens or like some outside locations that we can use to test whether our augmented reality app is already working or if there's still something to fix before we actually build it to the device. So once that is finished, we can go to our XR environment and, for example, choose the kitchen. And then if we click play, we will be in this virtual kitchen, and with the right click we can move. and just move around. But if we click, nothing really happens as we didn't add any features. And so in this tutorial, we are going to use only one feature, which is already quite powerful. It's the AR Plane Manager. And this is a feature that is also available just in the standard AR Foundation. So let's just click on the AR Plane Manager and then right click in a hierarchy and also create a AR default plane. Then we can create a new folder and say these are the XR prefabs and drag in the AR default plane, as this is going to visualize all the planes that the AR Plane Manager finds in the scene. So plane prefab is going to be here. If we now click on play, what we're going to see is what we've seen in the video in the beginning as well. So we have these weird planes popping up, basically showing where some kind of flat surface was detected. So next up, we're going to add the AR Raycast Manager. And this one will basically handle something called raycasts, which you might be familiar with, is something like laser beams that your camera will shoot forward, and if they hit something, they'll just give a notification and we can then decide what to do, for example, spawn an object. So don't worry about this raycast prefab. Basically, a raycast prefab will appear anytime that a raycast hits something, but we are going to do a separate script which will work with clicking on the screen and doing something that will actually spawn our object. So then let's create a new folder and call this one, for example, XR placement, and create a new script that we're going to call also XR placement. All right, so before we're going to write the script, let's just quickly import something that we can actually place. So if you take a look in the video description, I included a link from the Unity Asset Store for a pretty nice free asset, which is Astronaut. So let's just take this one, and you can add it to your assets and then just also import it in the Unity Asset Store and then load it into your Unity editor. All right, so then we're gonna open up our XR placement script like that. And what we want to do is we want to create a new serialized field. Oh, my ID is still processing here. And serialized field, and then we're gonna call this make this a game object, which is going to be our prefab for our astronaut. And then we need to also reference our AR Raycasting Manager. So maybe you call it Raycast Manager, like that. And we also need to have going to create a new list of game objects that are going to be the spawned prefabs. And that's about it. Then in our start method, we need to get component, and we're going to make the AR Raycast Manager. So of course we will need to get the actual Raycast manager and assign it to our variable here. And then in the update method, we need to check for any kind of input. So let's make this a little bit bigger here. So we're going to say if input dot let's say touch count. So if this is greater than 0, then this means someone touched the screen. So then we can create a new vector2, which is going to be the touch position. And we can say touch equals input dot get touch, and we're gonna get the basically the first one that has been detected. Maybe just change the position here. And the touch position is going to be the touch.position. Great, so now if someone touches the screen, we're going to get that. But we also, of course, want to test on the computer, so we also want to see if there's no touch. Maybe there's a mouse click happening, so we're going to get the mouse button down. And if the left mouse button is down, then we can also create a vector 3 in this case, which is going to be the mouse position. So input, not this one, just normal input dot mouse position. And we also need to convert that to a vector 2. So I'm gonna maybe call this mouse position 2D. And we're gonna take a new vector 2 and take the mouse position.x as well as the mouse position.y. Okay, so now we got these positions, and then we want to create a new method. So we want to call this raycast, AR raycasting, which will take a vector 2, so position, and then we are going to create so new variable AR raycast hit, and we can make this a list as well, as we're gonna have more of them. So like that, and maybe we call this hits. So then we're gonna say if, and then have the raycast manager dot raycast, and we want to go from the position. We want to add our list of hits, so if it hits something. And we want to also say what kind of types are we going to test for. And in this case, we take the plain estimated, don't care about the rest right now. So the question is, if we hit something with this raycast within our defined range of estimated planes, what are we going to do? So we are going to get the pose of the first hit, and then we want to do something with that. So for that, we're going to create another method, which will be AR instantiation. Well, it's a difficult word. Taking a position as well as a rotation. And then, so this method is basically going to take this bond. So it's going to take this bond prefabs. It's going to add instantiate our prefab. So this will be the astronaut at the given position and the given rotation, right? So then we're going to call in our raycasting the AR instantiation with the pose. So this is the position where the ray hit, with the position as well as the rotation. All right, so of course we still need to call the AR raycasting in our update method. So we're going to call AR raycasting, and then we're going to take our touch position. And if we're on PC, touch position. And if we're on PC, then we're going to take our mouse 2D position. All right, so let's take a look. There's semicolon missing. So next up, we want to go to our XR origin and add our script. And then, of course, we need to have some kind of asset that we're going to import. And this is going to be our stylized astronaut. And if we click on it, we need to make sure that there's nothing really annoying us here. So I see that there's some kind of player script. We don't need that. And also some kind of camera. We don't need that. And also we maybe just in case reduce the size a little bit so it will fit in our AR scene well. Alright, so let's drag that prefab in here, like that. And if we are going to test the scene right now, we will see that if we click somewhere, our little astronaut will appear. Awesome. So that's pretty much it. Then you can go ahead and go to your build settings. Then you need to add your open scene, select your device, and then make sure the player settings are correct, and then just build and put it onto your device. Alright, so that's about it. And if you build it to your phone or Android device, you will have exactly the same AR experience as I showed you in the beginning. So thanks a lot for watching. In the next tutorial, we are going to take a look more at advanced features like AR meshing, for example. But I think this is already a great success here that we could reach. And I'm very proud of you guys if you can get this running. It's not so easy, I know. And thanks for watching and see you next time.